If you're over the age of 40, doing high intensity interval training might just be the best way for you to get your cardio in and burn that fat. Okay, steady state cardio is great, but here's some reasons why you might want to focus on HIIT, but also how you should do it a little bit differently than maybe your younger counterparts, and how you might want to slightly tweak the nutrition just a little bit from your younger cousin over there. Make sure you hit the red subscribe button if you haven't already, and then please hit that little bell icon. I'm not a doctor. I'm just some guy that's lost 100 pounds, and I know a little bit of biochemistry, and I have a YouTube channel. So the first benefit, okay, as someone that's a relatively new dad, I'm understanding how important time is. And I think that you could probably understand that even if you're not a parent. If you're in your 40s and up, time is shrinking on you. And you don't have 2 hours to be in the gym. So as far as time effectiveness goes, it's kind of an obvious argument, right? Studies have demonstrated time and time again that high intensity interval training yields more caloric burn than steady state. There was one study that was published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, Nutrition, and Metabolism. It found that steady state workouts burn 547 calories and HIIT workouts burn 352. Steady state burned more, but look at the time. Okay, steady state was a 50-minute workout versus HIIT being a 20-minute workout. You get a lot more in 20 minutes than you do in 50 minutes as far as how many calories per minute you burn. Then the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research published another study showed between 25 and 30% more calories being burned with HIIT than with steady state. That's less time that you have to spend pounding your joints and beating the heck out of yourself. But what about burning fat? Because that's just the thing. You're over 40, you're wise enough to know that not all calories you burn are coming from fat. You could be breaking down muscle. And one thing to know, and that I'm going to teach you really quick, is that you burn different energy substrates like carbohydrates or fat at different percentages of your max heart rate, at different intensities. So for example, most people at about 70% of their maximum intensity stop burning fat and start burning carbs. It's anaerobic glycolysis and it's perfectly normal. But someone that is conditioned and does a lot of high intensity interval training and does a lot of high intensity work can actually move that number up. So what that means is you can burn more fat as a percentage of your total energy if you get conditioned to it. I know that still sounds a little complicated, so let's make it really simple. Let's say there's two of you, okay, carbon copies, except one person doesn't do high intensity interval training and one person does. Well, the person that doesn't do high intensity interval training, if they were to go out for a run at say 70% of their maximum intensity, 70% of what would make them just keel over dead, there's a good chance their body is burning up carbohydrates for energy at 70%. That's fine and dandy, but they're not burning fat. They're burning stored carbs. Okay, cool, still calories, but they're not burning fat. But then the other version of you that's been doing a lot of HIIT, they have improved the rate at which their body uses fat, meaning their body, or your body in this case, can use fat at a higher intensity. So that means that that person can go and push it to, say, 90% of their maximum heart rate before they keel over dead, and they're going to utilize mostly fat for that. So that means a lot more fat getting used at a higher intensity. I always want to use fat versus carbohydrates. And I would love to be able to use fats at 100% of my energy so that I know as soon as I kick it into high gear, I'm using fat. So you couple that with a shorter workout, and you, as someone over 40, you're in the prime spot to be able to just burn fat in a short amount of time. Then we talk repetitive impact for a second. You might think for a moment that HIIT training is going to be hard on your joints because you are doing something aggressive and you're pushing it hard. You think sprinting and you think pounding your joints. Well, first of all, HIIT doesn't have to be sprinting. You could go on a bike, okay? That's not gonna be impactful. That's not gonna be compacting, okay? But even though you're pushing it hard, your active amount of time that you're pushing it is really small. Think about it like this. If you're doing true high intensity interval training, you should be doing about 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. The actual amount of time that your joints are under stress is significantly less. Compare that to going out for a run, which at what seems like an easy pace for an hour. It might feel easy, but that is beating the heck out of your joints. So it's much easier on your joints. It's still gonna break them down because it's exercise, but it's a lot better. Additional joint support, just so you know, There's a link down below for Ujido Matcha that now has a matcha collagen. I always talk about matcha green tea, which is something that's really good to have like before a workout, but now they've combined it with collagen too. So check it out, it's a brand new product, super cool. So if you're over 40 or anyone really, you might want to check that out. Single serve packets, stevia sweetened, nothing artificial, nothing weird. You just pop that in some water or a bottle of water. It's perfect, and collagen obviously has been demonstrated to be really, really effective for joint health. So check them out down below. They're a big supporter of this channel. But then we move over to oxygen consumption for just a second, because oxygen consumption is really, really important for the muscle. Okay, oxygen consumption means like how much energy can the muscle take from oxygen? How much oxygen can it use? Well, it's been demonstrated in studies that high intensity interval training improves oxygen consumption by about 9%. Compare that to steady state workouts, which is going to yield about the same result, but in double the time. So you're someone that is over 40, you want to make sure you're getting the most mitochondrial benefit, the most cellular benefit. You need to make sure that your body is using oxygen well. As you get older, it's going to get less and less efficient at using oxygen. So you need to do your best part to try to increase your oxygen consumption amount within the muscle, so how much they can actually extract out of the bloodstream. Trust me, you will thank me later, especially when you get into your 50s, 60s, 70s. Now, on the nutrition side of things, it gets a little bit weird, okay? So over 40, you do need to be taking in more protein after your HIIT, okay? There was a study that was published in the Journal of Medicine and Science and Sports and Exercise that wanted to look at protein synthesis after any kind of muscle protein breakdown. So they compared two groups, people in their 40s, people in their 20s ultimately. And they had them do all kinds of workouts and mainly just running downhill. When you run downhill, you're breaking down muscle because boom, 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 you're running down. Okay? They found that people in their 40s had about a 1.49, 1.5% protein synthesis compared to younger people having 1.7. That is a big difference in the world of protein synthesis. As you get older, you don't use as much of the protein that you consume for rebuilding muscle, which means you need to make up for that in your consumption because yes, protein is going to help you build muscle. You just need more of it because you're not synthesizing as much. So what I recommend over 40 that I don't necessarily recommend in younger groups is that you should treat your high intensity interval training post-workout meal as if you would treat a typical weight training meal. You need to get good amounts of protein after HIIT because you are breaking down muscle fibers in a way that younger people are not, and that you're not going to recover from as well as younger people. So increase that protein content, sip on a little bit more for after your workout, or just have 20% more than you normally would. Another thing that people over 40 want to do is you're going to want to try to do your HIIT in a fasted state. You don't have to, okay, but you're going to get more benefit that way because what happens is as you get older, your cells become less efficient at creating energy. And if you can condition your cells to be able to use energy when you don't have food coming in, they're going to have the ability to really weather any kind of metabolic storm. It's going to make you more effective. So that's something more about you should do this to get more bang for the buck. I feel like younger people should too, but if you're over 40, doing HIIT in a fasted state is going to be largely beneficial. Then there's an interesting thing. You want to build up as much lactate as you possibly can. Lactate is that lactic acid burn. And the reason that I suggest this is because lactic acid is not just a byproduct. It is a substrate. Your body uses it as fuel. But if your body gets good at using lactate, it can actually be very, very good for the brain, meaning it can help stave off some of these neurodegenerative diseases and things like that. So what does that look like? It means do more biking than running. Biking, just by the way that you're sitting, you're naturally creating a little bit of occlusion, a little bit of an impingement in your hip, which means that you're going to have more lactic acid pool up. Have you ever noticed that when you pedal hard on a spin bike, your legs burn like crazy, much more than if you're running? If you're running, you just kind of fatigue and die out. But if you're biking, you get this crazy lactic acid burn. It's because of the impingement and because of the force that you're having to push down. So that way you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the cardiovascular, you're getting the HIIT, you're getting the oxygen consumption, you're burning the fat, but then you're also pooling lactate, lactic acid, which signals all kinds of different responses in the body. So from the brain down to the muscle, down to gluconeogenesis, if you want to get really granular with it, very, very, very effective. Okay, and just to recap everything here, okay, you want to do your HIIT HIIT in a fasted state. You want to have more protein afterwards. You want to be doing things like cycling, things that are not going to be as concussive. You want to make sure that you're doing it with like a 20-second on, 40-second off protocol. You don't want to be doing any kind of like 1 minute on, 1 minute off, stuff like that. Okay? You want to try to be doing it as frequently as you can so you can build up that oxygen consumption rate so that your body actually uses fat as a fuel source at more optimal levels with higher intensity. Okay? That's just a simple recap. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.